Hi, I'm Deb. Welcome to Quite Clever Quilting. Today we're going to be learning about the rotary cutter, how to change the blade, and how to use it safely. Come join me. So we're ready to use a rotary cutter. There are several different varieties, but today I'm going to be just looking at this type. This is a 45-inch millimeter blade, and to start with, I'm just going to show you how to change it. This one's quite easy. It has the red marker in the back, and you're just going to press and push it back. And when you lift it up, the blade is here. So something about the blade, it is a razor sharp blade, so you need to be careful with it. And when I change it, I just kind of turn it over, knock it over, and I put that back down. I grab my new blade, and I tend to, I'll rub it to make sure that I only have one blade. Sometimes we get two, and that's not necessary. I put the new blade in, simply push this on top, and push the red forward. And now I have a new blade in. If I push this back, you have to push down and back. Now the blade's exposed, ready to cut. With my old blade, I want to carefully take it and store it. How I store it is I take a used pill container, press this open, and I drop the old blade in. And these 45s are the perfect size for that. And then I just close it securely. And I store it until it's filled, and then I can get rid of it at a sharps disposal place. With the rotary cutter, we need a rotary mat, a cutting mat. And this is the type that I use. I like being able to have a dark on one side and the light on the other side. It's important that you use a cutting mat, because if you're using a rotary cutter on a wood or plastic or anything else, it's just going to cut the wood, or the plastic is going to dull the blade. So use a cutting mat. Also, you need to store your mat flat. If you store it on the side, it starts to warp. If you find it's warping, a quick hint is if it's a hot day, you can try to get it recovered by putting it on your black top, and it'll warm it up and it'll lay a little flatter for you. But I just recommend storing it flat, that way you don't have to worry about it. So with my rotary cutter, I press and pull back, and now the blade is exposed. As I said before, it's really sharp, so please be careful with it. You can see I can use it with my left hand or with my right hand. So we're going to close it when I'm not using it, and I'm going to get my fabric ready. I've just grabbed out a piece of fabric, and to make sure that it's going to be lined up, I simply open it up, make sure the selvage edges are straight. And this is why it's important to keep that blade closed, because I'm going to be moving fabric around, and I don't want that to be dragging onto the floor to hurt my foot or hitting my hand. So once my fabric is the way I like it, I simply put it on my cutting mat. I have a ruler, and I'm going to line up the edge of my fabric on one of the lines. And I'm going to clean cut the edge. As you can see, it's not a straight edge here. Some of it's going shorter than the other. So I'm going to get as close as I can to that edge and push my rotary cutter back. The most exposed portion of the blade, it's this side, as opposed to this side doesn't have much exposure. This side I'm going to be pressing against the ruler. I put my fingers on the ruler, making sure I keep it away from the edge, and I press. Once I move down some, I can move my fingers down. I kind of hold the ruler in place. Once I'm finished, stop. And that's cut. Now I need to cut, if I want to cut a 2.5-inch strip, I'm going to very carefully pinch and move the fabric, because I want to be able to cover that fabric with the ruler for the amount I'm going to be using. So I'm going to be cutting a 2.5-inch strip. Here's my ruler, 1, 2.5. I lay it down on the line, pick up my rotary cutter, open it. Start with your fingers closest to the end of the ruler where you're going to be cutting. We'll firmly press, move down, firmly press. As you get more accustomed to this, you'll be able to cut further and be comfortable holding this down. That is the 2.5-inch strip cut. Thanks again for joining me. We learned how to change a blade and how to correctly cut with the rotary cutter. So if you enjoyed the videos, I hope you subscribe down below. And until then, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.